Section 1, Letters. Letter 1.
Here begins the letter from the Deacon to King Charles. From the Chronicle of Monte Cassino, edited by Angelo Mu. To the promoter and defender of the Christian faith, Lord Charles, the wisest of kings by the power of Christ, Theodomar, humble servant, and the entire flock of the Blessed Father Benedict, under your rule, we wish eternal salvation in the Lord. We received your words with great joy, both through the letter and the holy man Bishop Adalgarius, when we learned that your Majesty, our Lady Queen, and your children are safe and healthy. We also rejoice greatly in the expansion of your borders and your triumphs over your enemies. Our joy increased even more upon hearing that your excellence is growing stronger in the Lord's field and diligently advancing the state of monastic religion to a better condition. This deed will surely bring you greater blessings, as you offer such a pleasing gift to our God. Therefore, since your mercy has decided that some monks from that region should be informed according to the teachings and shining examples of our Blessed Father Benedict, we have sent you the rule of this Blessed Father, copied from the very book he wrote with his own holy hands, as per your command. Additionally, we have included the hymns to the sacred rule, which should be sung according to the custom of our Blessed Father during each service or festival. For anyone wondering why the Blessed Benedict instructed that only one section from the Old Testament should be read for the nocturnal office during summer days, they should understand that at that time it was not yet customary to read the Holy Scriptures in the Roman Church as they are now. But after some time, this practice was established either by the Blessed Pope Gregory or, as others affirm, by Honorius. Our ancestors decided that in our holy monastery, which is founded near the Sacred Body, 3 readings from the Old Testament should be read daily during the summer. This was to ensure alignment with the Holy Roman Church. It shouldn't be thought that this would displease the Blessed Father Benedict. In fact, he would likely be pleased if someone took the initiative to add something extra to God's praises out of love for him. As for the division of psalms to be sung each day of the week, if someone prefers a different arrangement than what the Blessed Father established, they have his permission to sing as they see fit. Monks shouldn't be forced, if it pleases your wise hearts, to divide the psalms according to this holy rule. If you see fit, they can continue to follow the Roman tradition and sing in the usual manner. We also sent a 4-pound weight to measure the bread that should be made, which can be divided into 4 parts per pound according to the holy rule. This weight, as established by the Father, was found here. We've also sent a measure for drink to be provided to the brothers at lunch and another for dinner, which our ancestors estimated to be the measure of an emina. Additionally, we sent the measure of a chalice, which the serving brothers customarily receive, according to the holy rule. Our Blessed Father instituted that 2 cooked dishes should be prepared for the brothers at the daily meal, along with a 3rd dish of raw legumes soaked in water. However, according to our ancestors' tradition, we prepare 3 cooked dishes on other days, but only 2 on Wednesdays and Fridays. On these days, many of our brothers choose to eat only bread and garden herbs, and many refrain from drinking wine. On Sundays and major feast days, we also add a 4th dish. On days other than Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, when the brothers have lunch and there is plenty of wine, we have them mix 1 cup each. During major feasts like the Nativity of the Lord, Epiphany, Easter, the 3rd day after Easter during a grand celebration, Pentecost, St. John's, St. Peter's, St. Lawrence's, St. Mary's, St. Martin's, and St. Benedict's, we also have them mix 1 cup each at lunch. Additionally, in the summer, after the 9th hour, if there are any fruits, we offer our brothers 1 cup each. During hay-cutting time, we also serve a drink made from honey at the 4th hour to the working brothers. We only eat poultry on Christmas Day, if available, and for the 8 days following, as well as during the Easter feast days. Our prudent Father carefully stated in his rule regarding eating poultry that if the monks wish to eat, when appropriate, they should not be at fault. However, if their abbot does not provide such food, they should not demand it as if it were owed to them. Because you kindly asked about the garment called a cowl, we understand it as what we also call a casula. In winter, it's woolen, and in summer, it's plain or old, as the Blessed Father instituted, since this type of garment is usually woven with wool. The garment that Gallican monks call a cowl, which we call a cape, actually refers to the monastic habit and is known as a malote, as some still call it in this province. As the Blessed Gregory writes in the Book of Dialogues, after being saved from the water by the monk Maurus, the boy Placidus said, "When I was being pulled out of the water, I saw the malote of the abbot over me, and I saw him drawing me out of the waters." This covering is named so because it used to be made from the skin of an animal called a malo due to its bare body. Let's talk about a type of garment some refer to as a badger. Interestingly, the Blessed Benedict didn't mention this in his rule. This might be because, as we can assume, he noticed monks using this garment in various ways. For instance, monks in Gaul wear it more loosely and longer, whereas those in Italy, as you know, have a shorter and tighter version. Meanwhile, the Greeks add a small piece that hangs over the chest and back, while monks from across the sea use a fur version. So, seeing such a variety in monastic clothing, the Blessed Benedict left it to each monk to decide which style they preferred. However, regarding the number and quality of garments, our Blessed Father specified in his rule that the abbot should distribute them according to each person's needs. He also mentioned that fewer garments are needed in temperate areas, while more are required in colder regions. Despite this, our elders and previous abbots decided that our brothers should have 3 tunics due to various labors, 2 thicker ones for winter and 1 thinner for summer. Similarly, instead of cowls, we have 2 thicker ones, called matos, and a thinner one for summer. We don't use cowls because they are more expensive, and our father advised us to wear garments that can be purchased more cheaply in the province. Our brothers also have double undergarments. However, many of them, with God's help, are so disciplined that they don't have undergarments or more than double the garments as per the regular text. The Venerable Father also established that monks should have scapulars for work. These are called scapulars because they primarily cover the shoulders and head, a garment commonly used by peasants in this region. For this covering, we have a garment made from a thicker fabric, similar to a mellitus, but with sleeves that extend down to the hands. Additionally, we provide everyone with what they need. For our elderly, we offer fur-lined coats, and for the sick, we allow them to rest on mattresses, giving each person whatever their situation requires. Our brothers are also allowed to have hand towels, whether for shaving or for wrapping the books they take to read. Besides the regular fasts, on the eve of major festivals, we fast until evening. From the evening of the vigil through the entire night in the festival day, until the office of Compline, we do not kneel. On Sundays, and from the Nativity of the Lord until the 8th day, as well as from Easter until Pentecost, we also do not kneel during the public office. We've included in this letter, on a small page, the text of the promise that the earlier monks made in this place when they vowed to follow the holy rule. Our brother Joseph, whom you've deemed worthy to write to us about, is appointed to lead the monastery under the guidance of the rule. According to the statutes of the sacred canons, he has the authority to grant permissions for monks to be elevated to ecclesiastical ranks. However, he should consider if he can discipline himself to benefit the brothers by his example. It is indeed a serious and primary concern for monks, and contrary to the rule, if an outsider is appointed over them without their choice. Yet, your wise and prudent decision should follow the direction of divine inspiration. Regarding our venerable monk Optatus, we humbly ask you, because he overstepped due to the ignorance of age, that he may deserve your clemency and be granted leniency. After completing these tasks, we commend ourselves to your sacredness, asking our Lord, both publicly and privately, to grant us your well-being and the well-being of your people for many years to come. May he always preserve your glory in every place. The end.
Letter 2 to Charlemagne. He dedicates his dictionary to him. From Mabian's Benedictine Annals.
With a spirit of generosity, to the most wise and powerful Lord King Charles, the most exalted of kings, Paul, the least of servants, wanting to contribute something to your libraries, since I have very little of my own, I had to borrow from others. Festus Pompeius, deeply versed in Roman studies, explored the origins of obscure words and various causes, expanding his work to 20 lengthy volumes. From this, I have bypassed unnecessary details and less important parts, thoroughly explaining some obscure sections in my own style, while keeping things as they were, to offer this summary for your Highness to read. If you don't mind reading it, you'll find some things arranged by art, others by etymology, and especially the clearly stated names of your Romulian city, along with its gates, roads, mountains, places, and tribes. Additionally, the rites and various customs of the pagans. There are also words familiar to poets and historians, which they frequently used in their works. If this small gift of my humble efforts is not completely dismissed by your sharp and perceptive mind, it will inspire my modesty, with life as my companion, to strive for greater achievements. The sacred place is august, etc. This vocabulary concludes at the letter N. Nacicum.
Letter 3 to Adhalard, Abbot of Corbie.
To my dearest brother and Lord Adalhard, a man of God, Paul, the humble, I wanted, my beloved, to see you last summer when I was nearby, but I was unable to because my horses were too fatigued for the journey. However, with my inner eyes, which are all I have, I often see the sweetness of your brotherhood. I wanted to follow your instructions long ago, but as a poor man without scribes, I wasn't able to do so sooner, especially since a long illness kept me bedridden from September almost until Christmas. Even the young clerk, who managed to write these things, couldn't dip his hand in ink. Nevertheless, Please accept these letters you requested. Though they are late due to my busy schedule, I couldn't review them all again, but know that I have reread and corrected 34 of them as much as I could, except for a few sections where I found gaps. I didn't want to fill these in with my own understanding, as I didn't want to alter the words of such a great teacher. I've marked these sections with a zeta on the margin to indicate errors. Therefore, if you get the chance, let your brotherhood strive to reread the remaining letters for a more accurate version, and also fill in the gaps. However, I advise your holiness not to publish them widely, as there are some things in them better left unknown to those less worthy. Farewell, beloved brother, always flourishing in goodness, and when you direct your mind to higher things, remember me. Before the Rhine flows back to its source, before the bright Moselle seeks its own fountain, will your dear and ever memorable sweet name, Adalhard, depart from my heart's love. You too, if you thrive happily by Christ's gift, be mindful of Paul always.
Letter 4 to Abbot Theudemar.
To my most beloved and cherished master, Father Abbot Theudemar, from Paul, your humble little son. Although vast distances of land keep me physically away from your companionship, I am still deeply touched by your community's unwavering love, which remains undivided. The love from you, my elders, and brothers torments me almost every moment, to such a degree that neither a letter nor its brief pages can fully express. When I think of the time spent solely in divine works and my most delightful place of rest, when I consider your pious and religious affection, the holy group of so many soldiers of Christ dedicated to divine service, the shining examples of each brother's united virtues, the sweet conversations about the heavenly homeland's perfections, I am overwhelmed and astonished, unable to hold back tears drawn from deep within my heart. I am among Catholics dedicated to Christian practices. They all receive me well and generously show me love for our Father Benedict and your merits. But compared to your monastery, this palace feels like a prison to me, and compared to the great peace you have there, living here feels like a storm. My weak body is held here in this land, but with all my mind's strength, I am with you. I seem to be present at your exceedingly sweet gatherings, sometimes sitting at dinner, more satisfied by your presence than by food, sometimes observing the efforts of each of you in different duties, sometimes learning how each of the elderly or weak is faring, sometimes spending time at the beloved thresholds of the saints, which to me resemble paradise. Believe me, Father and Master, believe, sacred and venerable group, that I am only held here by the mere sight of mercy, the pure kindness, and the benefits for souls, and moreover, by the power of our peaceful King and Lord. However, as soon as I am able, and the Lord of the heavens, through a kind ruler, frees me and my captives from our hardships, I will return to you as soon as possible, if I can earn the kind ruler's joyful promise, with life as my companion, without being held back by anything else. No wealth, no estate, no abundance of gold or silver, nor the affection of anyone can separate me from your fellowship. Therefore, dearest Father, and you, beloved fathers and brothers, I ask you to continually pray to our blessed common Father and Teacher, Benedict, to intercede with Christ so that I may return to you as soon as possible. I have hope in our God, who never lets anyone down in their good desires, that he will bring me back to you quickly, fulfilling the longing of my heart, with the appropriate benefit. I think it is unnecessary to remind you to pray for our lords and their army, as I am sure you always do. Continue to pray to Christ for Lord so-and-so the abbot, as you do, whose unique generosity, next to the principals, supports me here. Your abundance there is so great, my beloved, that if I were to name you individually, this entire page would not suffice for all your names. So, I generally wish and write health to all, asking you not to forget me. But you, my venerable Lord Abbot, or whatever your title, I ask you to write to me about your and the brothers' well-being, or what fruits this year has brought you, and to send me the number of those brothers, along with their names, who have left worldly ties and gone to Christ. For I hear that many have passed away, especially so-and-so. If this is true, he has taken a considerable part of my heart with him. Farewell, most holy Father, and please remember your little son.